95.9 FM WGBB radio. And that, what a track that is, huh?
What a banger, right? That is a straight up banger.
The Dave Jemmott Loves You Band, and the name of the song is Boom, Boom, Boom.
Boom, 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 boom.
Boom, boom, boom.
We're lucky enough tonight to have Dave here with us. Dave,
Yes.
welcome to the
Thank
studio.
you. Thank you for having me. Thanks for the invite.
I love that song, man. And I just had recent problems with my heart.
See, it's perfect timing. Perfect timing for
My
that.
worlds are colliding.
Yeah. It'll make it go boom, 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 though, you know? You can get off that blood pressure medicine, just listen to this song. I am not a doctor, but
So
maybe in some countries.
I'm lucky enough tonight to have Jen Snorteland here.
Yeah.
Jen, a comedian. We met from stand-up comedy.
Oh,
and
we've been around the block together. Yeah,
very, very
absolutely.
funny. It's nice to see you back. You've been here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me and for letting me promote the Long Island Hustle every second and fourth Tuesday, which I'm sure you'll be gracing us very soon. Yeah, I'm lucky enough to know on a social level Dave Jemmott. And
You introduced me to Dave
at
the warehouse
He's
in Amityville.
a legend.
Yes.
He's a
Yes.
legend, and now that he's come out with new music and a new way to make music, and that song, I actually love that song so much that I used it at the beginning of my podcast with his permission, of course.
I have to ask for your permission. I'd love to play
I
that
grant
song.
you permission.
Thank you.
Yes.
You heard it live.
Wow, that was a lot. I actually had to hold him down, and he was like, "Fine, just get off of me." But he is just such a talent, so I'm so glad that he's here, and he's been here. He's a Long Island staple. It's a historic situation. Like, he's still alive, and we can talk to him about it. But since
The 90s.
the 80s.
80s and 90s?
Yes, been doing stuff for a long time.
Wow.
Yeah, he's actually older than one of our friends, Don Sill, and looks younger.
Well, you look great.
Look at
I'm
this- look at
112 years old.
Yeah, and the band is,
That's what punk does. It
Yes.
keeps you young, man.
Yes.
and it's actually called Dave Jemmott Loves You.
Dave
Yes.
Jemmott Loves You,
It's
man.
just
no,
Dave Jemmott
no
Loves
band.
You.
no band. Just
band.
Dave
Dave
Jemmott
Jemmott
loves you.
You.
Yes.
And that's actually a really interesting story. So, Dave, tell us, why did you come up with Dave Jemmott
So-
Loves You?
I used to be in a band called Eggplant Queens, and the other guys in the band would get pissed if I got a lot of attention. So I started making Dave Jemmott Loves You stickers, and I would hand it from the stage to the crowd.
Okay.
And then they just started showing up everywhere. So when my buddy Frank Fusco got in touch with me for this project that we did, he said, we have to name it. He goes, you want to name it the Dave Jemmott Project, the Dave Jemmott Experience? I was like, not really, He goes, how about Dave Jemmott Loves You? You already got those stupid freaking stickers around.
Right, yeah.
He goes, it's
Yeah.
already out there. The brand's out there. And he goes, it will look good on a T-shirt. It will look good on the album. So it became Dave Jemmott Loves You.
That's great. I love that name.
So it's almost like the branding became first, and
Right.
then the song came out, and the band
And the
came
band
out.
came out.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I already have it at home all over the place. I know my friends have stuck it all over California, too.
People send me pictures from all over the place, like Aruba, England, Wisconsin, Minnesota, of people that have seen it or put it up there, and then they take a picture and send it to me.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool.
So you're in the documentary Belmore, The
The
Unseen?
Unseen, yes.
Yeah, I saw that on YouTube. Wow,
Yes.
it's pretty wild, man.
Yeah, but that's Frank. Frank, who collaborated and played half the music on the Dave Jemmott Loves You, is the director of Belmore the Unseen.
Okay.
That's I know him since high school. He's a couple years younger than me, but I know him from Mepham High School over in Belmore.
Good old Mepham.
Yes.
And it was actually a crazy time for punk. I don't know what wave you would call it, the Belmore wave, I guess. But Dave was talking to me, and I was much, much younger. But they used to do BYOG parties.
Right.
You said right, you know what that is.
Yeah, bring your own.
Bring your own garbage.
Yeah.
BYOG.
G,
Oh, G.
not B. G.
Yeah,
Bring your own garbage.
Okay.
And people would literally hurl garbage at us while we would play.
Oh,
Yes.
for
Yeah.
real?
Yes,
Yeah.
for
Oh,
real.
I thought you were joking.
This was real punk scene
Yeah,
stuff.
The real deal.
People
Yeah.
would bring garbage in and throw it around the club,
Okay.
and the club owners would hate us.
Right. Bring your own garbage. Wow.
Yeah, they were really killing up the punk scene. I mean, being a young buck, I really looked up to bands like this. I was maybe perhaps a little inebriated, but Eggplant Queens was right up there, and then Rat Bastard was
first. Rat
First.
Bastard was the punk band, and then Eggplant Queens was more like a dirty rock and roll band.
Yeah,
Okay.
Eggplant Queens would play with Sea Monster and stuff like that.
Right.
yeah.
Bands like that.
Shout out to my dad. That's his favorite band.
Eggplant Queens had 3 singers. So Rat Bastard, I was a singer, but
Okay.
Eggplant Queens had 3 singers. So there was a lot going on. Sometimes 7 guys in the band, sometimes 6 guys in the band.
Right.
And that's when a lot of the garbage started getting hurled.
So now Dave Jemmott Loves You. When did this project? When did this band start?
So Frank Fusco was over my house at a party, and I hadn't done anything musically in about 8 or 9 years. And he says, do you miss making music? Do you miss being in a band? And I said, well, I have songs in my head that I can't get out because I don't play any instruments. I don't write anything. I just sing. So he's like, I could help you with that.
Right.
So we met, had some beers sometime. He's like, just sing whatever you have into the phone and send it to me. So he lives in New Jersey. So I'm out here in Wantor. So I would send him and he would send back music. And 99% of the time, it was what I had in my head.
Wow.
I don't think I ever went back in and said, you need to change this or something like that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And that's, so Frank did bass, lead, rhythm, and keys. And then one of his cousins did drums. And that guy's wife did the female backing vocals. So it was like all done in his studio that he has at his house.
Yeah.
And you just sent them the vocals.
Sent them the vocals, and then I would travel out
Yeah,
to Jersey
right.
and then drop the real things in the studio,
That's wild.
a couple
Yeah.
times.
But it sets us up for a real problem, especially as a fan, is we keep asking Dave, when are you going to perform? When are you
Yeah,
gonna
and
perform?
we don't know if we could pull it off live because Frank does all the guitars and the keys, so we'd have to bring other people in.
Right.
And logistically, Frank lives an hour from me. He's got a 9-to-5 job. I bartend at night, so we're on completely different schedules. So actually getting there live would be difficult. Some people suggested that I do it to a track, which I have no interest in. I want a band. I don't want to be up there with the computer and then just me singing with visuals in the background. People have suggested that, though.
People like me,
yes. I can't remember. A friend of mine about a year and a half ago, it was in Boston. Exactly what you just said. We went to see, and it wasn't my type of music. It wasn't punk. I don't know what it was. I really don't. But we went to see, he loved these two guys. They're famous on the internet. I can't remember the name of it. I wish I did. But it was just two guys. One was on the computer and one was singing. And the place was packed. Packed. And they were going nuts. They knew every word for word. Just two guys.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah, some people are just famous off TikTok, like Oliver Tree, huge fan. He doesn't play any instrument. Well, he kind of does. But like, OK Computer. Like that's all computer generated DJing stuff, and love them. All this EDM music.
I'm still trying to figure out how TikTok works.
I'll teach you, old man.
I'm just starting to learn myself. That's a good way to get this.
Once I think I know what's going on, I have absolutely no idea what's going on. That's the thing with technology, right? It moves without me.
And I've been told that when you go to TikTok, you're not supposed to just look at your own posts. You're supposed to look at other people's.
Right.
And I find myself just looking to see
who's
what I posted.
Yeah, that's not like ego-driven behavior.
No, not
like
at
I
all,
just want to know how many likes I got. I would go crazy if I was like that. But it's well deserved because he's been in the scene for what is it now, almost 20, 30 years?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Ugh, yeah. I'm not even that old.
80s is like 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gross to think about, especially like how young I was when I was sneaking into these places. It's like a gross thought.
Frank Fusco, who's like half of Dave Jemmott Loves You. Me and him actually were in a band for one practice when he was like in 9th grade and I was in like 11th grade, and we were called Parental Guidance Suggested.
I love that.
And we had one practice and realized that it was not happening.
The suggestion was not taken late.
So then, 35, 40 years later, I'm in a band with Frank again.
Wow.
Yeah, and the way that they produce it is like really crazy because you have to be really symbiotic with somebody to work the way that they work. So just hearing that and then hearing the music is like, really? This was done like through technology, through a phone, from a distance.
I would get out of work, bartending. I get out at like 2 a.m. and I have a song in my head. I would sing it into the phone and just send it like voice text over to Frank.
Right.
And that's how we would get it. And that's how we did all 13 songs. I wrote 14 songs and one he shot down because, and in hindsight,
it was a great song though. Go ahead.
It was called Egg. And it just went, duck, 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 egg, chicken, 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 egg, turkey, 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 egg, ostrich egg. That was the whole song, the complete song.
But it was all fowls that lay eggs. Like I get it. Like I'm here for it.
And that was the only song that he was like, that's not really, knocking it out of the park. So we left it off. He's like, we have 45 minutes worth of music. I don't need any more songs. It's the perfect length for an album. So
speaking of album, where can we buy this album, stream this album?
So Dave Jemmott Loves You is on Bandcamp, iTunes, Spotify, all the videos. There's 13 videos for the 13 songs on YouTube. And that's where you can get everything. And I'm planning on pressing vinyl once I get some cash together. But I have 4 kids, so every time that I have cash, it usually goes to the kids. Yeah. My daughter does travel cheer, so she's always in another state, So like the last thing I'm going to do is put the money into the album. But it's going to happen. It's coming. And we already have the idea for the album cover and the artwork and the sleeve and all that stuff. So just be patient and it will happen.
Joey, did you have a chance to check out any of his music videos?
I did. I was actually going to ask you next, like who put those videos together? I love the way
So my partner Frank,
Right.
he actually directs and writes television commercials. That's his job.
Right.
So he has all the equipment and stuff like that. So with Boom Boom Boom, the only thing that I said to him is I want to be wearing lederhosen in the video, and he's like, okay, I'll take it from there. So I called up a buddy of mine that works at the Oak Chalet, a local German restaurant in Belmore, and I called, said to this guy, Derek Farrell, I said, could I borrow your lederhosen? And he said, if anyone in the world asked to borrow my lederhosen, I would question it. But when Dave Jemmott asked you to borrow the lederhosen, you just give him the lederhosen. So put on the lederhosen and we filmed that video. It ends up with me at All American Burger in Massapequa.
My daughter works there.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
So ask her if she saw some wacko in lederhosen running past the building, 35 takes,
So the hamburgers and french fries make your heart go boom.
They make your heart go boom, boom, boom.
Absolutely.
That is the best place.
And then the Gertrude one is the video about the mermaid. We did that with green screen, and Frank just had me sing some stuff, and then he dropped me in,
The ocean.
in the ocean with the mermaid, and he did all the animation and stuff, and sent it to me, and I loved it. I liked the way it came out.
While Boom 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 will stay with you forever, Gertrude, after a while, is like a very cool, trippy situation. I
gets
really
like-
love
it's
the
an earworm.
storytelling. Yeah,
Yeah.
it really does. Me and my girlfriends love listening to it. I don't know if it's more of a female song, but the chicks dig it.
I do love the song. I saw the video before too. The video is awesome. I love the video. You can look
Excellent.
it up
Thank
on
you.
YouTube, right?
Right, on YouTube, Gertrude,
Gertrude.
by Dave Jemmott Loves You.
So take a look at that. We can play it now.
Sure, absolutely.
Jen, you want to introduce the song?
Absolutely. This is Gertrude by Dave Jemmott Loves You.
One day, while sailing the sea, I met a mermaid. I pulled her aboard, her name was Gertrude. She made me some food. So one day, while sailing the sea with my friend Gertrude, she wasn't talking to me, she made me food. Mermaids are always nude. One day, a rome wave came and took away everything that we made that special day. And Gertrude went back into the ocean. One day, while sailing the sea, I met a mermaid. She started talking to me. Her name was Gertrude. I pulled her aboard. She made me food. One day, a rome wave came and took away everything that we made that very day.
95.9 FM WGBB Radio. And Jen, what do we have there?
All right, that was Gertrude by Dave Jemmott, Loves You. And I have to tell you, one of the reasons why I love this song, and I love everything Dave Jemmott does, and I think this is something about him that's so special, is he never takes himself too seriously.
Oh, no.
You
know him better than I do.
No, really, like his music, even though there's some power behind those words, it's very, there's a joke in there and here. You know, like Gertrude, there's a tragic story there, but the melody and everything around, you know, mermaids are always nude. It makes you smile. And that's something that Dave's always been able to do. And I think that's why he's so popular among the people, among the Long Island people and beyond.
Yes. Well, I mean, with the name like Loves You, how can you not? Right? It's a win-win.
I'm a big Dave Jemmott fan, though, so it's unfair for me to say that. But honestly, like the whole discography is like amazing. Definitely check it out. Spotify, Bandcamp.
Thank you.
I'm going to have him on my show, The Long Island Hustle, which is going to be awesome in a couple months. Because he's been doing a little bit of a tour. You were just on
PR, yeah.
Conversations.
On Conversations just the other day, last week. I was on Anarchy to Diapers podcast about being a punk rock guy and now being a dad. Like the transition of being a lunatic into becoming a family man.
It's all the same, I feel like, except you just like dive it deep inside. You stifle. You just, like, tell me more. I'm not a dad.
And then I was on Kathy's show.
Yes, with me. Yeah.
Yes, with you as well.
Do you have two worlds? Like you have your, in other words, you have your family man, you're down watching your daughter's cheerlead, right?
Right.
And then you have your punk scene.
Then my punk scene. And I bartend in high volume venues. Right. So I feel like I'm on all the time, always surrounded by people all the time. Yeah. Trying to make everybody, have a good time.
Drunk.
And then when I was on stage, it was like a whole nother side of me comes out.
So, so you started this in high school?
I started doing music on and off in high school, but I was in my 20s when Rap Bastard really, a real band came about where like we actually put out cassettes back in the day and would play all the time. And then that band broke up and Eggplant Queens was the next band. And I was in that band for years. We were in that band and that band would play like 3 times a month at the Continental. We played at CBGB's every other month, you know. Yeah. So I was on that stage a lot. And then I just kind of got bored with Eggplant Queens after a while because the stuff that I wrote when I was a lot younger, a lot about partying and drugs and stuff like that. And now I'm a dad. I don't want to sing songs about angel dust, you know. So.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah. It happens to the moms too.
I'm the cleanest comic you can meet. But once my daughter graduates high school, it's going to change.
My daughter was on the computer showing her friends my videos, and I ran over and I said, "What are you showing them?" And she goes, "No, don't worry, Dad. It's Rat Bastard. It wasn't Eggplant Queen." So I said, "All right. Okay.
All right. Just stop it right there." You know, there's a line. I mean, for a mom, it's people are like, "Oh, she's sassy," which is just a nice way of them calling me the B word.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sassy? I didn't know that.
Anytime they're like, wow, she's so sassy.
She's got a little sass.
I love the way she holds herself.
Right.
That's just like, oh, she's without saying it on the radio. But same thing. I had a daughter and the comedy that I do, it didn't really change. I started as a clean comic because I was told that was the best way to get reach.
Yes.
And it was one of the hardest things to do.
Right.
So I was like, all right, I can play that game. Like, give me a challenge. Let's do it. So that's why that was so important to me, is to try to keep it as clean as possible. A couple innuendos, nothing too crazy. But a lot of it is about my daughter now. After having a kid, a lot of it comes from there. A lot of the art that I make and anything that I do is derived from my daughter and my husband. So, and people around me, like my best friend Claire, who unfortunately Dave gets videos of her dancing to his songs all the time.
Nice. And I enjoy them thoroughly.
Yes.
Thanks, Claire.
I'm surrounded by so many people who are brilliant, and like I think Dave is absolutely brilliant. I think what you do is amazing, and I'm so blessed to know our circle of people on Long Island.
How did you meet Dave? How did you and Dave? Was that from your dad? Was a Sea Monster fan, right?
No,
she started showing up at bars that I worked in when she was underage.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She was dating some guy that was older.
Yeah.
And then she would come in, like he would bring her to see my band play.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's how we became friends. And we remained friends from day one.
Yeah, we were friends, and then like our lives kind of like kept going forward, and it's like you kept bumping into the same people, and it's like, okay. And then I bumped into him, and he's like, oh, I have new music, and I was like, bet. Like, let's go. As the kids said, that's Riz. And I was like, let's do this. So I was a little sus. I'm trying to be really cool right now. Yeah, I was like, Dave, let's get you. I want this to get out there because it's really fantastic music, and honestly, Dave deserves it. Like he's put his time in. Let's
Great
do
guy.
it.
It's getting a little bit of airplay. I have a guy working the record, and it was on Little Steven's Rock Underground Rock Garage Rock. They played that. They played.
That's cool.
We have a song called Shirley MacLaine about Shirley MacLaine. That's what the song's called Shirley MacLaine.
Is it about Shirley MacLaine?
Yeah, so that got some airplay, and I'm like every Friday this record guy. It's like you were playing in Amarillo, Texas. You were playing in Richmond, Virginia. You were playing in Juliet, Illinois. So it's pretty cool. It's out there somewhere.
You were played on Long Island's oldest radio station,
WGBB.
WGBB.
100 years old, man. 100 years old.
My dad won tickets to see the Platters on WGBB.
Did you hear that, Trevor? His dad won tickets to see the Platters
from WGBB a million years ago.
Is that like the Supreme Sisters? Who are the Platters?
Only you.
This magic moment. Yeah, only you. Yes.
That's exactly how it sounds, Joey. That was perfect. That was dead on.
Dave's a singer.
I got to get you two together then. You guys can croon me all night because it's a dynamo in here right now between all the singing I'm hearing.
So your new music, you have enough for an album, right?
Yeah, so it's 13 songs, comes out to like 44, 45 minutes, which is the perfect length for an album.
When did you complete this? Is this new?
November. So it came out in November.
Now?
Yeah, so it's 6 months old.
That'd be awesome. So. I know your schedule, but it'd be awesome to get you out there on the stage somewhere, man.
We'll see. If the opportunity arises.
Let's cut Dave off. It would be awesome. We should get Frank out here to at least play something. And then the rest of it. And then
even for a one-off, like if I did a one-off, I could play at the warehouse and it would be jamming and packed.
Yeah,
and everybody would come out. To see
you got a great following too.
Yeah.
Right? You got everything going for you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, let's jump off. Also, my birthday's in October.
Perfect. So is mine.
Oh,
so
perfect.
for your birthday,
our birthdays,
our birthdays.
He'll get up there and be like,
so let me
let's work on it. Put some elbow grease into it
on Frank. A little pressure on Frank and see if we could pull it off.
You're going in that direction right now.
There's really nothing stopping it. So that's the whole thing. Is like it's just got to pop off, and he's paid his dues. He's got what it takes. So that's why it's time for him to get out there.
Yeah.
And he's been out there. I mean,
I like being on stage with the band. I like doing the music live and seeing the reaction from the people, as opposed. I love that people are listening to it, but when you're doing a live performance, it's the best. It's the best.
Reaction.
Yeah,
immediate reaction.
He's a showman. Even when he's bartending, he's a showman.
And even like when I was younger and I would get heckled from the crowd, like I learned really quick how to like deal with people and stuff like that and turn it around.
Well, you had garbage thrown at you.
Well, I had garbage thrown at me for years and years.
And suppously that was like a trophy. That was a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The more garbage, the better.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So watch us go on stage now at Governors get hit in the head with garbage.
The cabbage comes flying by.
You never know. You never know what's going to happen, especially with all the stuff happening with comedians now. Right. But like, I don't know if it was always happening and just nobody cared. Mm-hmm. And now it's, becoming a thing. But you know what? I'm down for it. I'm like a sturdy broad. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I also have a clean set. So if you get mad at me, it's like, what do you hate kids?
Right.
You hate veterans?
But Dave, you said it perfectly. What you just said is exactly the same thing comedians love, is performing live. Mm-hmm. Because there's no better feeling in the world.
Right. When you get the whole crowd there.
And they're with you.
And you get the applause. And it's excellent.
Best
I like it out there.
And all that hard work you get to see, So can we play Boom 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 again and take it out?
Sure.
Thank you so much for coming down.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You guys, you sound awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Joey.
you for having Dave come down. I'll play Boom Boom Boom. And this is 95.9 FM WGBB Radio. Dave Jemmott loves you.